Hey, and welcome back to another episode. So I wasn't going to do more than one episode on visions this year and like how to have a personal vision and what that really meant and what we were supposed to do. But I had a really good conversation the other day and follow-on conversation about the episode that raised some questions. And one of the questions that I received was, well, what if you had a vision in mind and it didn't come true and it wasn't your fault and your vision that you thought would be the outcome didn't happen and it's not going to happen? What then? And I thought about that for a second and I said, well, maybe you just had a goal instead of an actual vision. And there's a difference between having a goal and having a vision. And I would even say myself included in this is that I really didn't have a vision for my future until a couple of years ago. I had tons of goals and I had tons of aspirations of things that I wanted to do, but having a true vision of what that looked like, I really didn't. I was just accepting what was put in front of me because it was in alignment with my goals. And in order to have like a true vision, you need to do a couple of more things. If you're just picking up on this episode, you haven't heard any other ones, go to season 6, episode 1, Visionary Leadership, and listen to that one. It's 10 minutes. I give you 3 principles that you need to incorporate to make a vision. And because we had this conversation about what does it really mean to have a vision versus a goal, and I want to expand upon that. And there's a couple of things that we need to do and talk about. And there's 13 of them. And I'm not going to cover all 13 into this episode because it'd be way too much to go over. And I want it to be tangible. I want it to be something that you could think about and mull over and have conversations about. So it's very important to make sure that when you have a vision and you make your vision statement, it needs to be personal. And this can tie over into business, but if you're a leader and you don't have a personal vision statement and a personal vision of what you want it to look like 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now, or even better yet, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind when you die? Somebody's going to take over that narrative, and it's either you or other people. And just kind of a spoiler alert, not really, but we're going to be talking about that in the next episode with Jess Jensen in an interview that we did. So this all ties together perfectly, and I like how it all aligns. But I really just wanted to say and take this moment to talk about why it's important to have a personal vision statement. Because if you don't know where you're going and you don't know what you really want, then you're never going to get it. This is Tim Staten with Tim Stating the Obvious. What is this podcast about? It's simple. You are entitled to great leadership everywhere you go, whether it's to church, whether it's to work, whether it's at your house, you are entitled to great leadership. And so in this podcast, we take leadership principles and theories and turn them into everyday, relatable, and usable advice.
And a quick disclaimer, this show, process, or service by trademark manufacturer, otherwise does not necessarily constitute an implied endorsement of anyone that I am employed by or favors them in representation. The views are expressed here in my show are my own expressed and do not necessarily state or reflect those of any employer.
So it all starts with desire. When you have something that you want, right? What is that want? Now, I would say it needs to be bigger than I just want a truck, or I want a house, or I want this. That's part of your vision. Those are goals to accumulate some things that are nice to have, but not essential for your being. It doesn't give you the drive, that passion to do the things that you need to do throughout your life and throughout your career to achieve your vision. What is it? You need to ask yourself, what is it that you really want? And I have found, after asking people over several years, what is it that you really want? What is it that you really want to get out of whatever it is that you're doing? And no one's been able to really tell me what they want. I get answers of, when privates, I would get new privates, and I would talk to them and I would say, hey, what is it that you want out of the military? What is it that you want? And I would get, well, I want to make something of myself. That's the biggest answer I would get. I want to make something of myself. Well, what do you want to make of yourself? Why? I want to make something. Well, what is that something that you want to make, right? So it's kind of like when, somebody asks you, what do you want to eat for dinner? I want to eat food. Well, no kidding. You've got to eat food. It's the same thing when somebody asks you, like, what do you want to make of yourself? Well, I want to be better. No kidding. That's why you're doing what you're doing. But what is it? What does it look like? And all too often, we have this goal in our mind, but it's not our vision, because those things that are goals along the way, or things that you think is your vision, is really not your vision. So what is it that you really want? And you need to reflect on that. So here's the first thing that I'm going to ask you to do this week. I want you to think about what is it that you really want out of life and out of being a leader. What is it that you want? What is that burning desire that got you doing what you're doing? Because you're not doing it by accident. You're going through life, right? And you don't want to be that buoy that's in water getting tossed around whenever a wave hits it and just going with, this is where the wave tossed me. That's where I'm going. That's a way to live in life, but it's not like the best way to live. And it's incredibly important to think about, what is it that you really want? So this week, think about, what is it that you really want? And I want you to write it down and tie it to a time and say, I have a vision that this X thing, or this X environment, or this X whatever is the thing that I want in life. And I am so motivated and impassioned by it because of these reasons. And write those reasons down. Write your desire down. What is it that you want? So that's the first thing I want you to do this week. The second thing that we need to talk about is faith. You have to have faith that you're going to achieve your desired vision. Without faith, you will never achieve your vision. So here's my question. What is the definition of faith? So there's multiple definitions out there of like what faith is or what faith could be, but I'm going to tell you that here is a definition that I think works great. Faith is the foundation to have a positive and growth mindset. Faith means that you believe something in combination with an action. Faith is a belief and trust plus action. So I'm reminded of the Indiana Jones. I forget which movie it is, but I know there's like a gap. Indiana Jones is there. They got to cross like this invisible bridge. And it says only those with true faith can make it across. Well, the only way to have true faith is to just walk forward knowing that you're not going to fall. You don't see what's there. You don't see what's holding you up. You don't see the invisible force that it will keep you from death, but you just know it's there. And you're blindly walking knowing that it's going to happen. Because if you had faith that it was there, but you have no action to support your belief, then you will never achieve your vision either. You must have a belief tied to your higher purpose combined with action. And for me, that is my belief and faith in God and in Jesus. That's what that is. I believe that He is the underlying thing that holds me up and holds me afloat as I am walking towards my vision, because I'm walking in alignment with what He has for me. That is my belief. It's so much in my belief that I'm doing it, right? So it's the whole reason why this show exists, because I had a burning desire to do it, so I'm doing it. I had no idea how to do it from the get-go, but I figured it out, right? Because I had faith that this is what I was supposed to be doing. You cannot have faith without an action, because then it just doesn't. So when you have the faith incorporated into your desire, it helps build a stronger confidence with the direction that you're going in, because you know unwaveringly, like we talked about in episode 1 this year, that you're going to achieve it because you wrote it down and you told everybody, this is what I'm going to do. Or you told a few select people in a smaller group that you trust to hold you accountable for you to achieve your goal. So that way you all can have faith together that it's going to happen. You need to believe that you have everything that you need and it will happen. You don't know how it's going to happen. You don't know the when behind it. You don't know any of that stuff. You just know it is going to happen because you have the desire for it and you have the faith that those two are lined up, and it's going to be given to you because you've earned it along the way. You will become the person that you need to be in order to enjoy what that vision is when that time comes. So the second thing I want you to do is, after you write down what is the thing that you want and why you want it and the desire behind it, where it comes from, I want you to tie it to your faith that is going to happen. And if you are religious in any aspect, or you have some type of spiritual connection, tie that to the divine element. Tie that back to God. The third thing that we need to do is we need to work on our auto suggestion. Every day you are being suggested things without you even knowing it. You're being overtly and covertly suggested things. Whether it is the music you're listening to, the things you see, the billboards on the road, the ads on your applications, the ads on your phones, ads on TV, ads in the newspaper, you are being bombarded by a ton of auto suggestion. You are being bombarded with things that people want you to desire and to want instead of what you and God want you to have, right? So you have to work on repeating your vision statement to yourself over and over and over and over again throughout the day. You have to constantly be auto-suggesting it to yourself. You have to constantly be going, what is it that I need to do to make myself only think of the positive aspects of my faith in the thing I want? I don't want anything else. This is what I want. But you have to constantly remind yourself about it. Some people have vision boards. Some people have statements. Some people have an index card. So I have an index card that I write my vision statement on, and I repeat it to myself 10 to 20 times a day. And I internalize it. But I also have it with me, because if I do end up with having a doubt, because we're all people and things creep up in our minds and we have negative thought, I literally will touch the index card and think and say, you know what? No, I have faith that this is what's going to happen. This is going to happen. I don't need to doubt it. I am being upheld by an invisible force that wants nothing but the best for me, and this is in alignment together. So yes, this is going to happen. When we think about our auto-suggestion skills and we think about what is being auto-suggested to ourselves, the hardest thing is eliminating those auto-suggestions that are negative for you. Those auto-suggestions that take you away from your faith and your desired vision. You gotta get rid of anything and everything that does not align with the auto-suggestion of where you're going. Don't associate with it. I'm not saying you got to cut people out. What I'm saying is you may have to cut some things out. For example, if you want to write a book this year, being on your PlayStation 5 or your Xbox is not going to get that book written. You're going to be auto-suggested to play a game. You're going to be auto-suggested to go out with your friends. You're going to be auto-suggested to do all these other things except for write that book. Or maybe you want to be a streamer, right? You want to go on Twitch and you want to stream all these video games that you're playing because that gives you enjoyment and value, and you give value to other people by playing those games, and you can make some money while doing it. So hanging out with your friends is not going to do that. Going out and eating and chilling for a long time is not going to do that. Consuming too much content on social media or watching TV shows or something else is not going to get you to achieve your goal. So you have to constantly remind yourself, put up a vision board, do your daily, reading of your index card that reminds you of what it's going to be. Say it out loud. Right? Go to the bathroom, read your index card, and say it out loud. Say it over and over and over and over and over again. Because with that constant auto-suggestion, you're reinforcing all the positive things that you already have to help you achieve what you're going to achieve. It's that hard and it's that simple. So when we're looking at the top 3 things that we need to hone in on and fix, this week I would ask you, write down and think about, what is your goal? What is your vision? What is it that you really want? And how are you going to do it? And why do you want to do it? And what's your passion behind doing it? And why? Think about that. Then tie that to faith. Know that it's going to happen. Then work on your auto suggestion skills, repeating to yourself over and over and over again, what is your vision? Eliminating all of those distractions that keep you from achieving your vision. You have to constantly be reinforcing these things. So we're going to go over a whole bunch of other principles in another episode, and that's going to be probably in February, because next week we're going to dive into a video episode, a video podcast. I'll have the audio on here too for you to listen to, but Jess Jensen and I, we had a great conversation about social media and how social media plays into leadership and why leaders should really leverage social media and how to. I want you to think about all of these things in your vision for this year. And I also want you to tune into that one so that way you can get some knowledge and a connection to link up to and talk to about how to leverage social media from a leadership perspective, and how getting rid of that space and not really leveraging it to your full capability can hurt your legacy, because there's going to be a narrative out there. So you can control it or other people can control it. It's up to you. Same thing with your vision. You can control your vision for your life, or other people can control your vision for your life. I just wanted to put that out there for you to think about. So we're going to have several other episodes about visions and why it's important, what we can do and how we build it. But those 3 things this week, I really want you to focus on that. As always, thank you for tuning in and spending some time with me today. I truly hope you found value in this session, but before we wrap this up, I have a quick favor of you. If this topic resonated with you and you got some value out of it, please share this episode with 1 or 2 other people who you think would benefit from it. If you haven't already, take a moment to follow and subscribe, and on your favorite platform, hit all those bells and whistles and icons so you know when a new episode drops. And if this episode brought you any insight or inspiration, I'd love it if you could leave a review or comment. Your feedback not only helps improve the show, but also helps other people discover it and connect with topics that we explore here. Once again, thank you for stopping by. I'm Tim Staten, State in the Obvious.